My name's Ron Perry and I like to build models. I also like sharing building models on video. What the hell are you doing? Okay, let's get to work. I'm going to build for an hour. I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm going to paint the module a bit. Probably work on the ship repair building a little bit more. If you like these videos, check out my Patreon. Links down in the description. I'm also probably going to be listening to the radio. If you want to chat, the chat's live. Here, let me show you that. See? Okay, so over here is the video. It hasn't started. It gets janky. But this is the chat up here. And you can chat, man. So we're all set up on this side. So let's get to the modeling. If you have any questions about making videos, I know a bunch. You can ask me about that too. So let's move the camera here. I'm going to try to get it onto the desk here, clean up this mess first. I like to use small paint palettes. Okay, let's see how that works. Excuse me. Okay. I guess that's a good overview. So it's hard to see everything here because everything's all washed out in white. And I got the big white light up above and it's shining on everything. And that's going to work out in the long run, but in the short run, it's not really working at all, is it? Anyways, we'll move on. So, we've got 1/4 inch dimensional foam. Like I said before, being a custom model builder, you get paid for building your models, but often what is the case, you get your hands on, boxes of Woodland Scenics foam, for instance, through deals. And I've got to use this stuff up. So that's what the catalyst of really doing these videos is that I've got a whole crap load of foam to get rid of. So anyways, this is the Woodland Scenics dimensional foam. This is the 1/4 inch sheet. I put it on so the shipyard's sitting 1/4 inch up. Now this is significant because our diorama to this side had a piece of 1/4 inch placed underneath it. So it is up a 1/4 inch, and that means that the diorama over here is level with this piece, and this goes down a 1/4 inch into the scenery. So working with Jason Schron once, he mentioned to me that he wanted undulations in his layout. That was fine, undulations. Had to go look that up. What that means is the waviness of the ground. He wants to see shadow and purpose for every flat area and such. So this is what's happening here. I'm going to place our road down a 1/4 inch. This is going to be an interesting area to put together because there's kind of like it's a connection point between the dioramas, and there's the sawmill right here, so that this is probably a service road for getting wood out. I envision that over in the shipyard module, it goes out to a highway, right? And if there were 2 modules that way, I would be able to make a highway with a whole foresty scene and stuff like that, and there would be a driveway out to the highway there, and there would be a driveway out to the highway here. However, there would be a service road that goes out between these properties because they all do work together. You know, the shipyard brings in supplies by rail, and they're driven over across through the service road, or and like this guy gets service from the shipyard, and this is a diner, so everybody comes over here to eat. I think this is a sail maker, so everybody is in the same industry, and it's all working together. So I love how that works, because the story of the overall module arc is really easy to put together. Like, if you got a story that good, you could give a real good name to the creation or project itself. Like, I have to think of that name. So let's get to work. I want to do some painting here so that I can get this foamed up area eyed up. I want to work on this diorama in small sections. The water, the ship repair dock, the sailmakers, the diner. Everything's gonna be a entirely different build. And even though I might put paint or dirt over here, those projects will be loosely started, but they won't go in earnest until this one's pretty much done. That's just the way I work. I like to people like to build layouts and have all their track done. I'm the complete opposite. I'll build that track 2 feet at a time if I have to. That's basically because that's what I enjoy, is doing this stuff. I don't enjoy doing the beginning work. So getting all the beginning stuff done all at once is not my piece of cake. Running trains comes secondary to doing this. So we can remove this. I decided to, you probably noticed already, I decided to take the doors off the front of this structure and cut them into 4 separate doors, which wasn't easy. They already had glass on them. They had layers of bracing on them. All the bracing had to come off, except for 1 board, I think, or maybe 2 boards, 1 on each side. It wasn't easy, but I did it with, it was very, like, it came out very nice. So we'll just put that to the side. Now, I kind of tack glued this to the boat. I shouldn't have done, maybe I shouldn't have done that, I don't know. So, on our boat launch, turn this around a bit here. On our boat launch, we've got, it could be a homemade system, okay? Because I don't know how this stuff was put together. I just take what I look at and ask myself, what would be the most efficient way to do that if I was an engineer? And if I was an engineer, I wouldn't want to be stuck with wheels that could go bank, bank, and get stuck in the rails. I would rather have a couple of wheels down the middle going up a race, and then having a couple of skid boards on the side, so when you're pulling your boat up, the boat was going like this, it doesn't matter. But they're balancing on the wheels going up the rails. So in this situation, how this works is we've got a winch up here pulling our trolley. Oh, it goes this way into the ship repair building. So the winch is up here. It's hooked to the trolley. The boat comes up, floats onto the trolley, and it gets, this is removed at the time, and this gets pulled up the mill race. Now I'm aware that I embellished this idea. Hold up. Okay. Thought somebody was coming in. So I'm aware I embellished this idea. However, I went all out on making this embellishment. So it's real to me. We used little metal wheel castings in the middle. I just used the smallest ones I could find, so it didn't lift the trolley up too far. And on the front that is viewable out the door of the shipyard, I put nut bolt washers, NBW castings, in the main big boards to make it look like they really built this thing out of something. So that's gonna sit there like that, and this is going to be on it. And our doors are going to be open, and they're going to be folded open on each side, kind of like an accordion. So let's get this off. And start painting. What I want to do is paint this foam. I'm going to leave this white, because I like having the marker marks here to guide my imagination. It's basically the truth of it. So take my palette here, which hides my cheap Lowe's or Home Depot or hardware store paint. Now what I did was I took in a paint chip of aged concrete paint, And what these stores do is they'll match your paint, but what happens is they usually match your paint a little bit darker. And I think that's just the limitation of the machine, which is no big deal, because I'm of the opinion that all these colors that we get are great, but they are never the color that you need for the situation, and that's important. Sometimes you've got your limestone based dirt roads that look one way in the sunlight, and on a rainy day or in a wet situation they look completely different. So it's nice to add paint to this stuff, but I just use it as my basic ground color. Just to get rid of the white. Now, if there's a problem with the recording, I noticed in my last live stream that some parts got hiccupy. Like it kind of skipped some parts. One part I was explaining something, another part I wasn't explaining something. So if you're missing something, if the live stream is a fail, I have a backup copy of the recording that I could salvage an informative video in place. It just takes more work. And as I'm spending an hour with you today, it'd be really hard. It would be really not fun to spend about 6 hours just to be able to do an hour of live stream. So, we could work it out, is the point. But not without a bit of effort. Such is life, though. I thought I had a bigger marker here. That's one thing with kids. They always have that, oh, look at this factor. Disappeared. Okay. This means that I should where are we going with this? So I've got to paint all the rest of the base of this structure. And we might glue it down. Or actually, I should put down a piece of paper over the area and put down a base coat of dirt. What would that benefit? That would benefit me. Or maybe I should just put a piece of paper there and do this section first with dirt. Yeah. A plan is afoot, my friends. A plan is afoot. Because the sooner we get dirt in there, the better. Okay. So, we got some fine dirt. So we really don't want to lose it down the cracks. So I'm going to use my full strength glue around the edges to block that situation from happening. You don't even really need to get your glue right over top of the edge, because actually it should probably do the whole run. So you don't have to put your glue right in the spot that you want it, because the full strength glue is so strong. We're going to take it off the top of this casting with our finger. Then we're going to scrape it off the back of this casting with this piece of wood. Because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get it on the castings. But if you put your glue away from the casting, use a piece of stick to push it in, you start getting pinpoint accuracy and nothing gets all mucked up like I just did. Okay. It's always good to have a masking device to, make things easier. I wouldn't need this if I wasn't using my mitt like a caveman. But I am using my mitt like a caveman, so I do need to block what I'm doing. There we go. Boys and girls. Now, is this dirt fixated to the ground yet? The question is, what is the answer? What is the answer? The answer is no, my friends. It is not fixed to the ground. Why? Because the dirt is dry. And the dirt is presently competing with the foam for the drawing of the moisture. So the foam's getting it to go down. The dirt's trying to get it to come up. But gravity's helping it go down faster. If we put wet water, which is water with dish soap in it, we now are drawing the glue up through the dirt. We also find out that we can add a little bit more. Like there, and there, and there. Whew, that's hard work. Okay, so let's do the same over on the other side. Oh, you bugger. You bugger. Okay. Okay. Now I don't know where to go from here. I think over today, something that I can't really do on camera is do the interior of this building. I think I can just talk about it after it's finished, because getting a nice camera shot while I'm doing this is not very fun. So I think this might be a good place to end it. Because, you know, that's how this whole design thing starts and finishes. Oh, I guess I can build up the base. Okay, yeah. Because this is going to take a few days to finish. So up along the water here, we have an issue where, let me find a piece. Figures. The only piece I've got is a great big chunk. So our water on the shore over there is about a 1/4 inch higher, and so this piece of wood here is just shy of a 1/4 inch. Maybe 1/8 of an inch or 3/16. I don't know what it is, but this is shorter than what the water is over there. So what my idea is I want to put my beach sand, because I've got a lot of beach sand. Well, this is my nice fine under aggregate. This is like B gravel in the HO scale world. So, this is going to be fairly tough to do. I'm going to start by laying a bead on the inside over here of glue. Oh no. Huh. This is called thinking on your feet, I guess. I had no idea how I was going to make my break wall, but it's starting out with this board now. I need to drive a separation between the layers. And I'm okay with painting, like I'm going to be painting the sand. So I'm going to prep this, but I'm only going to pour the sand by turning the diorama around so I can get full control I don't make a huge mess in the shop. So those are the ends. Okay, so we'll use these glues up. Now we don't want to use very much glue, and it's thinned out a lot. This is my most thinned out bottle. It's almost done. Next we're gonna go like this. God, this is making a hell of a mess of my table. Gosh, that looks good, man. Okay, so now I'm going to do this over here because my electronics are over there, but I'm going to wet the sand to start drying up the glue through all the layers. Now we didn't add very much glue at all for the amount of sand we added. So I can see the water starting to puddle up on top of the dirt. Let's turn this around so I can show you what's happening here. Now, number one, this foam is extremely porous and it's gonna allow the glue to go right through it. So that's good and bad because it's gonna make the foam become one with the sand. But on the sides you can see where I put the thick layer of glue, it's starting to pool up through all the layers of sand, even though I put a lot of sand there. And now we're just gonna finish up adding enough glue. And as you can see, you know it's saturated because it's just flowing right into the sand now. And that's in no small part due to the fact that I added dish soap to my spray bottle. So that's that. We're probably gonna come back and paint the sand a bit, but then we might not. I don't know. This could change. The sand looks really good on the bottom, but I also want to have a nice green water that kind of matches the other diorama. So I might bite the bullet and try to do a different technique that matches the other technique. I love doing that kind of thing. I always change my mind on stuff, so it's almost impossible to keep on doing the same kind of technique. So I'm gonna move this back to the bench. Thanks for watching. Hopefully by Friday of next week we'll have a nice. We'll be prepared to really start doing something cool, like doing some scenery or maybe even doing some water. But there's a lot of time for the glue to dry till then.